If you feel stuck in life, it's probably not because you're lazy, unmotivated, or broken. It's because you're still trying to create a new life with an old identity. You can watch self-improvement videos, change your routine for 3 days, and write the perfect plan in your notebook. But if, deep down, you still see yourself as the person who never finishes anything, your brain will always pull you back to who you believe you are. In this video, I want to show you 3 powerful identity shifts that can completely reinvent who you are. Not just what you do, but how you see yourself. Because once your identity changes, your habits, your discipline, and your results don't feel forced anymore. They become natural. Let's get into the first shift. The first identity shift is from I'm the result of my past to I'm the architect of my future. Most people live like they are a product of everything that happened to them. Bad grades in school, strict parents, a breakup, a failure in business, a mistake they made years ago. They build an entire identity around these moments. I'm not smart. I'm not disciplined. I'm bad with money. I always attract the wrong people. And the scary part is, once you accept that story as your identity, your brain starts to filter reality to prove that story true. You notice every moment you procrastinate, and you ignore the times you actually showed discipline. You remember the one failed relationship and forget all the moments where you showed love, loyalty, and strength. The shift is this. Instead of seeing your past as a fixed definition of who you are, you start seeing it as raw material you can build with. You're not a finished product. You are a project under construction. So how do you make this shift practical? First, change the way you talk about yourself. Catch sentences like, I'm just not that type of person, or I always mess things up, and replace them with, up until now. Up until now, I wasn't consistent. But I'm learning to become the kind of person who shows up daily. Up until now, I avoided discomfort, but I'm becoming the kind of person who can handle it. It looks small, but this wording matters. It tells your brain, my past is a description of what happened, not a prison for what's possible. Second, start thinking of yourself as the architect of your future. An architect doesn't blame the old building. They look at what's already there, decide what to keep, what to remove, and what to build next. Ask yourself, if I'm the architect of my future, what skills do I want to build this year? What kind of character traits do I want to be known for in 5 years? Calm? Disciplined? Kind? Relentless? Curious? Write this down, not as goals, but as identity statements. I am the kind of person who finishes what they start. I am the kind of person who respects their own time. I am the kind of person who stays calm under pressure. The more often you repeat and act in alignment with these statements, the more your brain updates the story it tells about who you are. That's identity shift number 1. The second identity shift is from I need motivation to I need evidence. A lot of people secretly identify as the unmotivated one. They tell themselves, if only I had more motivation, I would study, go to the gym, work on my business, wake up early. So they wait. They scroll. They look for a perfect quote, a perfect video, a perfect morning where they feel perfectly ready. Here's the truth. You don't have a motivation problem. You have an evidence problem. Right now, your brain has a huge folder of evidence that says, I'm inconsistent, I procrastinate, I quit when it gets hard. Every time you skipped a workout, every time you stayed in bed scrolling, every time you broke a promise to yourself, that folder got thicker. Your brain is just looking at that folder and saying, based on everything we've done so far, we are not the type of person who sticks to things. So when you try to start something new, like waking up earlier or working on a side project, a part of you doesn't believe it. This is why motivation feels weak and short-lived. It's trying to fight against years of negative evidence. The shift is to stop chasing motivation and start collecting new evidence. Instead of asking, how can I feel more motivated? Ask, what's one small action I can do today that proves I'm the kind of person I want to become? Not a huge crazy challenge, not a full life reset overnight, just one small, specific, undeniable piece of evidence. If you want to become a disciplined person, your evidence might be, I worked on my most important task for 10 minutes, even when I didn't feel like it. If you want to be a healthy person, your evidence might be, I drank water first thing in the morning, or I walked for 5 minutes after lunch. If you want to be a focused person, your evidence might be, I put my phone in another room and worked for 10 minutes without checking it. Most people ignore these small wins because they seem insignificant. They say, 10 minutes doesn't count. But these small actions are how identity is built. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're sending a signal to your own brain. Every piece of evidence is a vote for the identity you want. At first, your old evidence folder is much thicker than your new one. That's why it feels fake when you say, I'm disciplined or I'm confident. Your brain is like, based on what? But if you keep showing up every day with small, consistent actions, your new evidence folder grows. And one day, you cross an invisible line. You look back and realize, I have more evidence that I'm disciplined than that I'm lazy. That's when it stops feeling like you're pretending. It starts feeling like who you are. So from now on, don't obsess over motivation. Obsess over building evidence. Ask yourself at the end of each day, what did I do today that a disciplined, healthy, focused person would do? Even if it's tiny, it counts. The third identity shift is from I am my feelings to I am my commitments. In the old identity, your feelings are the boss. If you feel tired, you don't work. If you feel anxious, you don't speak up. If you feel insecure, you don't take the opportunity. You unconsciously believe, if I don't feel like it, I can't do it. So you start to identify as someone who is ruled by emotion. I'm too anxious. I'm too sensitive. I'm too lazy. And the dangerous part is, you start to trust your emotions more than your values. But feelings are not facts. Feelings are weather. They move. They change. They come and go. Your values and commitments are the climate, deeper, more stable, and more important. The identity shift here is powerful. Instead of seeing yourself as the kind of person who acts only when they feel like it, you start to see yourself as the kind of person who acts according to their commitments, even when their feelings are loud. This doesn't mean you ignore your emotions or become a robot. It means you stop worshiping them. Imagine two versions of you. One lives by the rule, I act when I feel like it. The other lives by the rule, I act in alignment with my commitments and my future self, and my feelings are allowed to come along for the ride. Which version do you respect more? Which version do you trust more? Here's how to put this into practice. First, define 1 or 2 commitments that matter to you. Not 10, just a few. For example, I commit to moving my body every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. I commit to working on my most important project for at least 15 minutes each day. I commit to going to bed without my phone 3 nights a week. Then, separate your identity from your feelings and your self-talk. Instead of saying, I'm lazy, say, right now I feel resistance, but I'm still the kind of person who shows up. Instead of, I'm anxious, I can't do this, say, I feel anxious, and I can still take one small step. You're not denying the feeling. You're refusing to become it. When the moment comes to act and you don't feel like it, this is the exact moment where identity is built. You can even say to yourself, This is my turning point. This is where I prove to myself who I am. Maybe you don't do the full workout, but you put on your shoes and walk around the block. Maybe you don't write 1,000 words, but you open the document and write one paragraph. These moments where you act with your commitment instead of your emotion are where self-respect is born. Over time, you start to trust yourself. You start to believe, I'm someone who can feel discomfort and still move forward. That's a completely different identity from, I always quit when it's hard. So let's put everything together. The first shift is from, I'm the result of my past to, I'm the architect of my future. Your past explains where you started, not where you're allowed to go. You begin speaking about yourself as a work in progress, not a finished failure. The second shift is from I need motivation to I need evidence. You stop waiting for perfect feelings and start collecting tiny daily actions that prove you're becoming the person you want to be. The third shift is from I am my feelings to I am my commitments. You let your values, not your mood, define your actions. You stop worshiping every emotion and start honoring the promises you make to yourself. If you apply these 3 identity shifts consistently, your life will start to change in a way that feels strange at first. You will catch yourself doing things the old you would never do, closing the app and opening the book, getting up instead of hitting snooze, speaking up instead of staying silent. And it will feel less like I'm trying really hard and more like this is just who I am now. You don't need a more perfect version of you to start. You don't need a new year, a Monday, or a full life reset. You just need to decide who you want to become and then start acting in small ways that match that identity. So here's my challenge for you. Right after this video, write one sentence. I am the kind of person who, and finish it with the identity you want to step into this year. Then, do one small action today that proves that sentence true. It might take you only 5 minutes, but it could be the first real moment of your reinvention. If you found this helpful and you want more videos on identity, habits, and self-respect, make sure you subscribe and let me know in the comments. What identity are you choosing from now on? Your reinvention doesn't start when your life looks different. It starts the moment you decide to see yourself differently.